Take a slow breath, let your shoulders loosen, and imagine yourself drifting back, further and further into a world lit by firelight, shaped by the rhythm of the seasons and softened by the quiet hush of falling snow. Welcome, dear listener. Tonight we are going on a gentle walk through medieval winters, exploring how ordinary people lived, slept, ate, worked, and stayed warm during the coldest months of the year. We will move slowly, softly, as if strolling through a peaceful village long after sunset. Where smoke curls from chimneys, snow muffles every sound, and the world feels wrapped in a long, deep exhale. So settle comfortably. Let the quiet of the night gather around you, and let us begin our slow story. Imagine you are standing at the edge of a small medieval village. The sun has just set, slipping behind a line of dark winter trees. The air is crisp, sharp, still. Your breath forms tiny clouds that float gently upward before fading into the deep blue of the evening sky. The houses around you are simple and low, made of timber and wattle. Their roofs are thick and heavy with straw, holding small caps of snow. Soft orange light spills from the cracks of wooden shutters. Somewhere nearby, you hear a faint bleat of a sheep settling down for the night. A distant dog lets out a lazy bark, and then the village becomes quiet again. Life in medieval winter moved slowly. People woke with the pale sun, and they ended their days early, curling around warm hearths long before midnight. With the cold pressing in from every side, the village felt smaller, closer, almost cocoon-like. Winter was not only a season of survival, but also a season of closeness, patience, and long, lingering evenings near the fire. Let's step inside one of these homes and see how people prepared for the long months of cold. As you push open the creaking wooden door, a wave of warm, smoky air greets you. The hearth burns brightly, the heart of every medieval home. It is more than a fireplace. It is the stove, the heater, the only source of indoor light after sundown, and the sacred center where life gathers. The fire crackles gently. Shadows dance on the walls. The room glows with a soft, flickering warmth. In medieval winters, keeping the fire alive was a daily task, almost a ritual. People used seasoned wood, peat, dried turf, or even bundles of tied twigs. A good fire meant survival. Without it, nights could become dangerously cold, especially in the northern regions of Europe. Imagine the family gathered here. A mother mends a cloak, her needle moving slowly. A father shapes wooden pegs or repairs a broken tool. Children, wrapped in wool, sit close to the warmth, whispering stories or playing simple games with carved bone pieces. The hearth is constant, glowing gently like the calm center of a sleepy world. As the flames rise and fall, the room feels sheltered from winter's breath outside. Snow taps softly at the small shuttered window. But in here, everything is still, slow, safe. Let us take a gentle breath and look around. People of the medieval world did not have modern insulation or thick down jackets, but they understood warmth. They dressed in layers, simple but effective. Imagine pulling on a long woolen tunic, heavy and warm. Over it, another layer, maybe a cloak lined with sheepskin. On your feet, shoes stuffed with straw to keep the cold from creeping in. Around your shoulders, a thick, comforting mantle fastened with a simple brooch. Wool was the winter hero. Soft enough to wear, warm enough to trap heat even when damp, and strong enough to last season after season. And though clothing styles varied from place to place, the rule was always the same: layer upon layer, wrap upon wrap. Warmth built slowly, patiently, like the crackling of the evening fire. People slept in their clothes. They worked in their clothes. They walked through snow, did chores, ate meals, and visited neighbors wrapped in thick woolen garments that smelled faintly of lanolin and hearth smoke. There was something comforting about this familiarity. Clothes were not a fashion statement, but a shield, a second skin that helped everyone endure the cold breath of winter. And as the night grows a little quieter, let us wander gently into the next part of winter life. Winter meals in medieval times were humble. There was no fresh fruit, no leafy vegetables, and often no meat unless it had been salted or smoked earlier in the year. Survival depended on preparation, storing, drying, preserving, and making the most of what was available. Picture a large clay pot hanging over the hearth. Inside, a slow, bubbling stew, thick with root vegetables, turnips, onions, parsnips, and maybe a scrap or two of salted pork. The smell is warm and earthy, filling the room with a sense of comfort. Bread is a constant companion, dark, dense, and made from rye or barley. It is dipped into the stew, softening at the edges. Sometimes a small piece of cheese. Sometimes dried beans slowly rehydrated in the fire's heat. And on rare winter days, a piece of smoked fish or preserved fruit, a tiny treat, a reminder of warmer seasons. Imagine the family eating slowly, gathered close to the fire. The stew warms their hands. The quiet of the evening wraps around the room like an extra blanket. Meals were not rushed. There was nowhere to hurry to. Winter encouraged people to slow down, to take time, to savor warmth wherever it could be found. As the pot gently simmers, let us continue our quiet journey through medieval winter life. Even in winter, life did not stop, but it changed. Tasks became slower and more deliberate. Outdoor work was quieter, simpler, focused on essentials: feeding animals, chopping wood, repairing fences, clearing snow. Imagine stepping out into the cold morning air. The sky is pale. The ground crunches underfoot. Chickens huddle in their coops. Sheep press together in barns, their bodies adding warmth to the chilly air. You can see your breath with every exhale. People moved gently, steadily, saving their energy. There was no rushing in winter. The season set the pace. Much of the work happened indoors. Women spun wool into yarn using drop spindles or spinning wheels. Men repaired tools, sharpened blades, crafted simple wooden items. Children helped in small ways, fetching water, sorting dried herbs, smoothing rough wool with patient strokes. Work was meaningful, rhythmic, almost meditative. A long winter day might be spent weaving cloth, or carving a new handle for a farming tool, or mending thick woolen socks by firelight. The cold outside made everything inside feel more intimate. Work was not separate from home life. It blended with it, becoming part of the family's daily rhythm. Listen softly, the crackle of the fire, the gentle scrape of a knife shaping wood, the soft hum of someone spinning wool. These are the quiet sounds of winter labor. And as the hours drift by, let us move gently to another aspect of medieval winter life. Winter brought darkness early. Sometimes only a few hours of daylight stretched across the sky. When night arrived, it arrived fully, wrapping the village in deep quiet. But darkness was not something to fear. It was a companion, a signal that the day was done, a cue to rest, to gather close, to share the oldest form of entertainment, stories. Imagine sitting near the hearth again. The flames are lower now, glowing red. Everyone is wrapped in blankets or woolen cloaks, and someone begins a story in a slow, soothing voice that drifts through the warm air. Stories of local legends, tales of seasons long past, soft songs sung in low voices, simple chants to pass the time. Even the smallest children listened, their eyes heavy with sleep, their minds drifting between waking and dreaming. People did not rush to bed. They let the night settle around them like a gentle snowfall. They embraced the stillness. In a world without clocks or bright electric lights, the evening could stretch endlessly. Time felt soft, unhurried. Conversations drifted lazily. Someone poked the fire now and then, watching sparks flutter upward like tiny wandering stars. It is in these evenings that winter feels most peaceful, most intimate, most human. As the embers settle, let us prepare to explore more of this quiet world, but slowly. Softly, as the quiet night lingers over our small medieval village, let us step back into the slow rhythm of winter. The air outside is cold and still. The stars feel close, almost resting on the rooftops. And inside the warm homes, life moves softly like a candle flame swaying in a gentle draft. Let us continue our journey with calm curiosity and a peaceful mind. Imagine waking early on a winter morning. The world outside your door is covered in fresh snow. Everything feels hushed, softened as if the village is holding its breath. Your boots sink slightly into the powdery layer as you take your first steps outside. The only sound is the faint crunch beneath your feet. No distant carts, no busy footsteps, no hurried chatter. Snow quiets everything, turning the village into a peaceful, almost dreamlike place. For medieval villagers, winter silence was familiar. It was not lonely, it was comforting. The quiet allowed people to hear the things normally hidden by the noise of daily life. The rustle of birds in the trees, the soft groan of a barn door shifting in the wind, the delicate patter of snowflakes landing on straw roofs. Children often played in the snow early in the day. They rolled small balls of snow. They left tiny footprints weaving between houses. Their laughter drifted through the cold air, bright and soft, like little bells far away. Adults moved slowly through the morning, checking on animals, gathering wood, clearing the path to the well. There was no rush. Winter taught patience. It taught people to accept the pace set by nature, a pace that asked for calm, steady steps rather than hurried ones. And as the morning unfolds, the village wakes in its own gentle way. Animals were essential for survival, especially in winter. Their warmth, their milk, their labor, all were precious. And so people took great care to keep them safe from the cold. Imagine stepping into a medieval barn on a freezing morning. The air inside is warmer than outside, thanks to the animals' bodies. You can hear the soft snorts of horses, the gentle bleats of sheep, the slow shifting of cattle resting on piles of straw. Their breath forms little clouds that fade into the air. The barn smells earthy and warm. It is dimly lit. Sunlight filters through cracks in the walls, falling in soft stripes across the hay. Farmers would spend time checking each animal, removing ice from water buckets, adding fresh straw, making sure doors were secure against cold winds. Cows were especially important. A single cow could provide milk all winter, a crucial source of nourishment. Sheep offered wool and warmth. Chickens gave eggs when the days were long enough. The animals were not just livestock, they were part of the rhythm of life. Caring for them created a peaceful connection to the season. Even in the coldest months, living things continued to breathe, move, and offer comfort. Farmers often talked softly to their animals as they worked, gentle murmurs that filled the barn with warmth as tangible as the heat rising from the straw-covered floor. And when their chores were done, they stepped back into the cold, carrying with them the warmth of that quiet space. Sunlight in medieval winter was a treasured gift. Days were short, sometimes only a few usable hours of light. The sun lingered low in the sky, casting long shadows across fields and homes. Imagine watching the pale winter sun rise above the horizon. It looks tired, soft, gentle. Not the bold summer sun, but a quiet companion guiding the day at its own slow pace. People planned their daylight carefully. They used every moment to gather what was needed, to finish tasks that required clear vision, to prepare for another long evening by the fire. But there was something soothing about winter light. It never rushed. It never glared. It rested softly on snowy rooftops, turning them into blankets of white gold. It shimmered on frozen ponds. It warmed cheeks just enough to remind people that the world still held gentle warmth, even in the middle of winter. As the sun began to set, often early, sometimes in the late afternoon, people returned home. Shadows stretched long and thin across the ground. Smoke curled into the sky, and lanterns flickered to life one by one. There was a peaceful acceptance in this rhythm. Darkness came early, but it brought rest, a slower world, a chance to breathe. With the sun gone, the night offered its own soft beauty. Stars scattered across the sky. The moon lit the snowy paths with a cool, calming glow. And inside homes, fires crackled quietly, spreading a warm, golden light through the evening. Let us step back inside now, where another warm winter practice awaits. Nights in medieval winter could be extremely cold. Some homes had frost form on the inside of their walls. It was not uncommon for people to wake with a thin layer of ice on their blankets. To stay warm, families often slept together, not out of custom but out of necessity. Imagine a large bed filled with soft straw beneath linen sheets. On top, heavy wool blankets and fur coverings create a warm nest. Everyone settles close, sharing body heat. Children in the middle, parents on the outside, sometimes grandparents or cousins joining too. The room is dark except for the dim glow of fading embers. The air smells faintly of wool and smoke. Breathing becomes slow, steady, soft. Sleeping together created comfort and connection. Nights felt safer, warmer, more peaceful. The slow rise and fall of shared breaths filled the room like a lullaby. If families did not share a bed, they still shared warmth. Sometimes people heated stones in the fire, wrapped them in cloth, and placed them near their feet. Some used hot water in clay jars to warm the bed. Others wore their thick wool clothing to sleep, especially on the coldest nights. There was something deeply soothing about this closeness. The winter night felt less harsh when you were wrapped in warmth with others nearby. And as sleep slowly settled into the home, the world outside remained quiet, cold, and peaceful beneath the blanket of snow. Let us drift gently into the next part of winter life. Staying healthy in winter was important. With limited food, harsh weather, and close quarters, people relied on simple remedies passed down through generations. Imagine a small wooden box sitting near the hearth. Inside are dried herbs, chamomile, thyme, mint, elderflower, each one carefully stored during the warmer months. Their scents remain faint but comforting. If someone had a cold, warm herbal tea was made. If someone was tired, a little honey was stirred into warm water. If a cough lingered, steam from boiled herbs filled the room, easing the breath. Medieval remedies were gentle and natural. Warm cloths placed on the chest. Thick broths rich with garlic or onion. Rest by the fire. Sleep under heavy blankets. These treatments were simple but soothing. They eased the discomforts of winter. They offered care at a time when the cold could feel overwhelming. Healers, midwives, or older family members often knew exactly what to prepare. Their knowledge came from experience, observation, and the rhythms of nature. Winter health was not about fighting the season, but about moving gently with it. Let us take a slow breath and follow the rhythm into another quiet corner of this peaceful world. Even though winters were cold and food was scarce, medieval communities were often close-knit. Survival depended on cooperation. Neighbors helped each other without hesitation. Imagine someone bringing an extra loaf of bread to a family with a sick parent, or a group of villagers gathering to repair a roof damaged by heavy snow, or two families sharing a warm fire on especially cold evenings. People understood that winter did not play favorites. It touched everyone. And so kindness was a natural part of life. You might see villagers huddled together at the well, chatting softly as they filled buckets with icy water. You might hear gentle laughter as friends walk through snow, covered paths to visit each other's homes. You might notice a traveler being welcomed indoors with warm stew, even if food was limited. This quiet generosity made winter feel less harsh, more human. The cold season brought people together, strengthening bonds that might have been overlooked during the busy months of harvest and planting. Inside homes, visitors often sat close to the hearth, sharing stories, sipping warm drinks, or helping with small tasks. Time moved differently in winter, slower, softer, and conversations had room to stretch and settle. Community warmth could be as powerful as the fire burning in the hearth. And as the night deepens once again, our journey through medieval winter continues gently, patiently, like the slow fall of snow outside. The night settles over the village once more, soft and deep like a blanket of velvet. A thin moon hangs above the rooftops, casting pale silver across the snow. Inside the warm homes, fires glow gently, pushing back the cold with quiet patience. Let us return to this peaceful world. Let your breathing soften, and allow the calm rhythm of winter life to guide us further into the story. As we step back into a medieval home, the kitchen space, though small, feels warm and welcoming. A pot hangs over the fire, sending gentle steam into the room. The smell is earthy and comforting, like cooked grains, dried herbs, and a hint of smoked wood. Imagine someone at the wooden table grinding grains with slow, steady movements. The sound is rhythmic, a soft scraping that blends with the crackling of the fire. Winter kitchens were places of patience. Nothing was done quickly. Everything took time. Bread dough rose slowly near the hearth, warming under cloth. Oats simmered into thick porridge. Roots were sliced gently, added to pots with careful hands. Food was simple, but the warmth it brought was deep and soothing. Picture dipping a wooden spoon into a steaming pot. The aroma rises, your hands warm instantly. The steam fogs the cool air around you. Meals weren't just nourishment. They were moments of comfort in a season that demanded resilience. Sometimes children sat nearby, watching the slow dance of the fire as they waited for supper, their faces flushed from the heat. Their eyes grew heavy in the dim light, feeling safe within the familiar scents and sounds. Winter kitchens were the heart of the home just as much as the hearth, a place where warmth became food and food became comfort. Let us wander outside again, softly, into the cold night air. Imagine stepping outside after supper. The world is quiet. Snow glows pale under the moonlight. The air is crisp, almost sparkling with cold. Your breath forms gentle clouds as you walk. Each step sinks into the soft snow. The only sound is the faint crunching beneath your feet. The village feels peaceful at night. Some windows still glow faintly with firelight, but most homes are dark, their occupants already drifting into sleep. Smoke rises in thin lines from chimneys, curling into the sky like slow, sleepy ribbons. If you listen closely, you might hear the distant howl of winter wind passing through the trees, or perhaps the sleepy snort of an animal shifting in a nearby barn. But mostly, there is silence. A vast, gentle silence that makes the world feel calm and safe. This quiet night walk is a reminder of how closely medieval people lived with nature. They knew the patterns of the stars. They recognized the moods of the wind. They moved through the night with respect but not fear. Winter nights in the medieval world were long but full of stillness that soothed the mind. Many people used the early darkness to reflect, to pray softly, or to share quiet moments with loved ones before sleep. Let us walk just a little farther, feeling the cool air on our cheeks before returning to the warmth of the hearth. Inside again, let's picture a family gathered close to the fire. Winter was not just a time of waiting, it was a time of creating. With fields sleeping under snow, people turned their hands to crafts that supported them through the year. Imagine someone weaving cloth. Their hands move slowly, rhythmically. The wool stretches and tightens under their gentle pull. The firelight dances on the threads, turning them golden. Nearby, another person carves a small wooden spoon. The sound is soft, a quiet scrape, a whisper of wood. Shavings fall like tiny curls onto the floor. Children sometimes helped with simple tasks, sorting dried beans, untangling pieces of wool, stacking firewood in neat rows. Craftwork brought families together. It filled long evenings with purpose. It kept hands warm and minds calm. Even the act of mending clothes became peaceful. The needle moved slowly through fabric. The thread pulled tight. The garment became whole again. Winter crafts reminded people that the season, though harsh at times, was also a gift, a time to make, to repair, to prepare. Let us move gently now into another quiet corner of winter life. Travel in medieval winter was rare. People preferred to stay close to home. But when journeys were necessary, they were slow and thoughtful. Imagine walking along a narrow path that winds away from the village. The snow is deeper here, untouched and smooth. Trees rise on either side, their branches heavy with frost. The world feels silent, wrapped in stillness. Travelers wore thick cloaks and sturdy boots. Some carried walking sticks to steady themselves. Some traveled with companions for safety and warmth. Horses walked carefully, their breath rising like soft steam. Carts moved slowly, wheels creaking through the icy ruts. Every sound seemed sharper in the stillness, the crunch of snow, the distant call of a raven, the jingle of a harness buckle. But winter travel also had a strange beauty. The landscape looked like a painting. The air smelled clean and sharp. The sky felt open and endless. Travelers sometimes stopped at small inns or monasteries, where they were welcomed with warm soup, bread, and a place to rest by the fire. Hospitality was important. A traveler in winter needed warmth more than anything. Most journeys ended early in the day. People did not walk after dark. The cold night was too deep, too quiet. Let us slowly make our way back to the village now, back to the warm lights and familiar sounds. Inside one of the homes, you might hear soft singing. Winter music was simple, no grand instruments or bold performances. Just quiet melodies passed down through generations. Imagine a gentle tune sung near the fire, a soft, steady rhythm. a voice rising and falling like the slow sway of snowflakes. Someone might hum a lullaby to a child. Someone else might pluck a few notes on a simple string instrument. Others might just listen, letting the music settle over them like a warm blanket. Winter songs were about comfort, about family, about hope for spring, about the beauty of stillness. The music drifted through the dim room, mixing with the sounds of crackling logs and the slow breathing of those settling into sleep. It was not loud. It did not need to be. It was the soft voice of winter itself. Let us linger a moment longer in this warm, musical glow and then move onward. Elders had a special place in winter life. With long experience, they remembered cold seasons from decades past. They knew what signs to watch for, what remedies to prepare, how to ration food wisely. Imagine an elder sitting close to the fire, wrapped in a thick wool cloak. Children sit at their feet, listening wide-eyed as they tell stories of winters long ago. Stories of great snowfalls, stories of clever survival, stories of animals and spirits and lessons learned with time. Their voice is calm, steady, warm. Their presence brings comfort. Winter was a season of memory, a time when the past felt close and rich. Elders shared knowledge that helped families survive and thrive. Their stories kept traditions alive. And as the flames flicker softly across their face, the younger listeners feel a deep sense of belonging, as if the warmth of the fire and the wisdom of generations blend into one gentle light. Let us pause here, letting the warmth settle around us, and then move forward once more in the quiet rhythm of winter. Let us slip gently back into the quiet, snowy world of the medieval winter. The fire glows softly. The night is calm and still, and the village rests beneath a sky as pale as frost. Breathe slowly, let your thoughts settle, and allow the story to carry you deeper into those long, peaceful winter months. Imagine walking toward the small village church on a cold winter morning. The sun has barely risen and the air feels crisp enough to sparkle. Snow crunches under your boots as you make your way along a narrow path lined with sleeping trees. The church stands simply at the heart of the village. Stone walls, a wooden door, thin curls of smoke drifting from a small chimney. Inside, the world feels different, warmer, softer, more peaceful. Candles glow along the walls, tiny flames flickering like golden stars caught indoors. The scent of beeswax drifts gently through the air. The light dances over stone floors and wooden benches, creating long, warm shadows that move like sleepy spirits. People gather slowly, wrapped in wool cloaks. Their breath fades into the soft air as they settle into quiet prayer or contemplation. Winter gave them time to reflect, to slow down, to sit with their hopes and fears in calm silence. The priest's voice rises gently, echoing in the cool stone chamber. It is not a loud voice, not forceful or sharp, but soft, steady like the rhythm of footsteps in fresh snow. The church in winter wasn't only a place of worship. It was a place of warmth, a place to see familiar faces, a place to feel that even in the coldest season, no one was alone. And when the service ended, people stepped out together into the gentle morning light, their breaths rising like small clouds, their hearts a little lighter from the warmth shared within. Let us walk with them now, slowly, back into the winter day. In larger villages or towns, weekly markets continued through winter. Though smaller and quieter than summer markets, they still carried life and color into the season. Imagine walking into the town square on a winter morning. Snow has been cleared in wide paths. A few wooden stalls stand in a loose circle, each one decorated with simple winter greenery, pine branches, holly berries, maybe a strand of dried herbs. Vendors are bundled in thick cloaks. Their hands are gloved in wool. Their breath rises in little rings as they greet customers with gentle smiles. On one table you see jars of honey, their amber color glowing in the pale sunlight. On another, dried apples and pears sit neatly arranged in small cloth bags. A farmer offers onions and turnips kept safe in root cellars. Another sells woolen gloves or warm socks, freshly knitted by family members sitting by the fire. The marketplace is quiet. No shouting, no rushing, just soft conversation, the murmur of everyday life continuing even in the coldest months. Children cling to their parents' hands, their cheeks rosy from the cold. And occasionally, someone laughs softly as they barter for a little extra cloth or a handful of nuts saved from autumn harvest. The winter market may be humble, but it is a sign of endurance, a promise that life continues, even when the world is covered in frost. Let us leave the square now, stepping carefully along the snowy road as we explore more of the season's gentle world. Though food was scarce, medieval people still found ways to celebrate during winter. Feasts were smaller in the cold months, but they were filled with warmth, community, and gratitude. Imagine a long wooden table laid with simple foods, thick bread, warm porridge, stew rich with roots and herbs, maybe a small piece of salted meat saved for a special occasion. Candles flicker along the tabletop. People gather close, their faces glowing in the warm light. Children sit excitedly, their eyes bright with the promise of treats. Winter feasts were moments of joy. They reminded people that even in the darkest part of the year there was still light, still laughter, still hope. Sometimes musicians arrived, playing gentle tunes on pipes or small stringed instruments. The music drifted through the room like warm breath, touching every corner with soft melody. At these feasts, people shared stories of the year gone by and hopes for the year ahead. They offered blessings of warmth, safety, and health. They lifted cups of warm drink and toasted the simple gift of surviving another winter day. The fire burned bright, pushing back the cold. Voices mingled in soft conversation. And for a moment, the long winter night felt like a celebration. Let us savor that warmth and then follow the gentle path to another winter scene. Imagine walking slowly into a winter forest. The trees stand tall and still, their branches laced with frost. Snow blankets the ground, softening every step. Sunlight filters through the bare branches in thin, pale rays. The forest feels quiet, deeply quiet, as if the world has paused to breathe. In medieval times, winter woods were places of both necessity and beauty. People went there for firewood, small branches fallen from trees, bits of dried bark, or bundles of twigs they could carry home. But they also went for the peace of it. Birds perched silently on branches. Occasionally, a deer stepped cautiously through the snow. The sound of wind in the branches was gentle, like a soft sigh. Walking through the winter forest, one felt a sense of humility, a sense of connection, the understanding that nature moved at its own quiet pace and people moved with it. You might pick up a fallen branch, brush snow from its surface, listen to the faint rustle of a distant animal, feel the cold air fill your lungs. Nothing hurried here. The winter woods were a reminder that the natural world rests too, slowly, patiently waiting for spring to return. Let us return to the village now, carrying the calm of the forest with us. Even in harsh winters, children found joy. Their games were simple but full of imagination. Picture a group of children rolling balls of snow, stacking them into small snowmen with twig arms and pebble eyes. Their laughter rings through the cold air, soft and bright. Their boots leave scattered trails of little footprints across the village paths. Some children slide down small snowy hills on wooden boards. Some chase each other, their cheeks glowing with warmth. Others stay indoors, carving tiny figures from wood or drawing patterns in ashes near the hearth. Their clothes are thick and heavy, but they move easily. Winter is a playground, a world transformed into something magical. At night, children curl beside their parents, drifting into sleep, as stories are told about winter spirits, brave animals, or gentle heroes who bring spring back to the land. Their imaginations weave together with the crackling fire, and the quiet of the season becomes a cozy place of dreams. Children remind us that winter, though cold, holds its own kind of wonder. A wonder found in simple joys, in quiet games, in warm stories told beneath heavy blankets. Let us rest briefly in that warmth and continue our path through the season. Life in medieval winter followed a slow rhythm. Wake with the pale light, work gently through the day, share warmth in the evening, rest under heavy blankets as night settles deeply across the land. People accepted this rhythm. They did not resist it. They moved with the season, not against it. Winter taught patience. Winter taught resourcefulness. Winter taught people to savor small comforts, a warm fire, a shared meal, a quiet song, a moment of laughter. The cold months were challenging, but they also brought stillness, reflection, the chance to gather strength for the busy seasons ahead. And in that slow rhythm, medieval people found a sense of peace. A peace that stretched across the snow-covered world like a soft, silent blanket. Let us sit with that peace for a moment, letting the calm of winter fill the space around us. The night stretches long and quiet over the village once more. Snow rests gently on rooftops. The moon drifts slowly across the sky, and the world feels wrapped in a deep, peaceful stillness. Let us settle back into that quiet. Let your breathing fall into a slow rhythm, and allow the story to guide you gently onward into the winter months of the medieval world. Root cellars and winter storage. The hidden shelves beneath the earth. Imagine walking down a small set of steps behind a medieval home. The cold air thickens as you descend. The darkness deepens until a faint lantern glow reveals a low underground room. This is the root cellar, a secret stomach of the house, a cool, quiet space where winter survival quietly hums. Inside, shelves made of rough wood line the walls. Clay pots sit in rows like patient guardians of the season. Bundles of onions hang from strings. Barrels of salted fish rest in corners. Sacks of barley and rye fill the shadows with their earthy scent. You can feel the temperature shift, a coolness that preserves but does not freeze. Everything here is stored with care. Everything has its place. Villagers knew exactly how long each food would last, and how much could be taken before spring returned. Imagine lifting a lid from a clay pot to reveal dried apples. Their sweet smell drifts into the air, reminding you of warm harvest days. Or opening a sack to find sturdy root vegetables layered in straw, kept safe from rot by the cool, steady air. The root cellar is calm, still, almost meditative. It is a quiet reminder of preparation, patience, and the slow, steady work that makes survival possible. And when you climb back into the winter air, the cold outside feels sharper, but you carry with you the sense of comfort that comes from hidden abundance. Let us walk gently back toward the center of the village. The village mill. A slow winter heartbeat. Even in winter, the village mill holds a rhythm of its own. The miller wakes before dawn. The millstones turn with a slow, heavy groan, and flour drifts through the air like pale winter dust. Imagine entering the mill on a cold morning. The wooden door creaks. The air is filled with the scent of grain, warm, earthy, soothing. If it is a watermill, the stream outside may be partly frozen. The wheel turns slowly, pushed by the icy water that slips between sheets of ice. If it is a windmill, the blades creak gently in the crisp winter wind. Inside, the mill feels alive. The steady grind of stone, the soft fall of flour, the quiet footsteps of the miller moving from bag to bag. People bring their sacks of grain here, bundled against the cold. They wait patiently, exchanging quiet conversation as the mill works at its unhurried pace. A child might sit near the entrance, rubbing hands together for warmth, watching the snow fall outside as they wait for the fresh flour to be ready. The mill is not loud, not bustling, but steady, a heartbeat for the village, slow, dependable, essential. And when the flour is finally ready, warm from the work of the great stones, it is carried home for bread making, filling homes with a scent that brings warmth even on the coldest day. Let us step outside now, feeling the crisp air on our faces as we continue. Firewood was life in winter. Without enough wood, nights became harsh. Days became difficult, and the hearth could not perform its gentle, warming magic. Imagine the quiet task of gathering wood, walking into the winter forest, feeling the crunch of snow under each deliberate step, breath rising in soft clouds. Men and women carried small hatchets, used not for felling great trees but for collecting fallen branches or splitting logs cut earlier in the year. The wood had to be dry, light, ready to burn without too much smoke. Picture stacking the wood near the home, each piece placed carefully so air could flow between the logs. The smell of bark and sap rises into the cold air. The stack grows layer by layer like a small shelter against winter's chill. Inside the home, someone tends the fire. Adding a single log takes thought. Wood was precious. Each piece mattered. The fire crackles softly, filling the room with a warmth that seems almost alive. Embers glow like tiny stars fallen to earth. Flames soften the walls in a slow dance of light. The ritual of wood gathering, splitting, stacking, burning was one of winter's most important rhythms, and one of its most peaceful. Let us move forward slowly toward another gentle part of winter life. Step outside the village now into the fields and open countryside. The snow lies smooth and untouched, stretching out like a soft white ocean under the moonlight. The air is still. The world feels vast but calm. In medieval times, people who lived on farms or distant homesteads knew this quiet intimately. They were surrounded by open land, fields sleeping under frost, hedges sagging under snow, and distant woods that whispered only when the wind passed through their branches. Winter nights in the countryside held a beauty that inspired quiet reflection. Imagine standing at the edge of a frozen field. Your breath drifts upward. The stars look sharper, brighter than in summer. Every sound seems magnified, the soft snap of a twig beneath your foot, the faint hoot of an owl perched somewhere unseen. Even animals moved more quietly. Foxes padded across the snow with soft paws. Rabbits darted from hedges, leaving gentle trails. A distant dog might bark once, then fade back into silence. Many people found comfort in this quiet. It reminded them that life continued beyond the village, that nature endured, even when asleep beneath its winter blanket. Some farmers paused outside each evening, listening to the peaceful land before returning indoors to the warm glow of their hearth. Let us walk back now slowly, softly, toward the gentle light of the village homes. Every season has a scent, and winter's was unforgettable in the medieval world. Imagine breathing in the fresh, cold air. It is sharp but clean, almost sweet in its purity. Now imagine stepping into a home warmed by a fire. The scent of wood smoke wraps around you. It clings to wool cloaks, blankets, and hair. It becomes part of daily life, a soft reminder of warmth and safety. There are other winter scents too: the musty smell of stored grain, the earthy perfume of root vegetables, the faint herbal fragrance of dried chamomile, mint, or thyme hanging near the hearth. Clothing carried the soft scent of lanolin from warm wool. Home smelled of bread and stew. And sometimes, when the wind shifted, the air smelled faintly of pine trees standing tall at the edge of the village. These scents blended to create the aroma of winter, familiar, comforting, grounding. For medieval villagers, these smells were not just pleasant. They were reminders that the home was safe. that the fire was strong. That winter, though long, was gentle in its own quiet way. Let us breathe in that warmth once more and continue our slow journey. Winter demanded strength, but it also invited reflection. People accepted hardship with patience. They moved slowly through cold days. They shared what they had. They supported one another. The mindset of medieval winter was not rooted in fear, but in togetherness. Families sat close at night, wrapped in blankets, whispering stories. Neighbors shared news, food, and comfort. Communities gathered for prayer, song, and simple celebrations. Everyone looked toward spring not with impatience but with quiet hope. They understood the rhythm of the year. They understood that seasons moved in cycles, each one offering its own gifts. Winter's gift was stillness, time to mend, time to rest, time to grow strong again. And so winter became not just a season of cold, but a season of deep, peaceful endurance. Let us rest gently in that thought for a moment, letting it settle like falling snow. The night deepens once again around our quiet medieval village. Snow settles in soft drifts. Frost forms delicate patterns on windows. And inside warm homes, the glow of the hearth paints gentle gold across wooden floors. Let us step back into that world with slow breath and an easy pace, and continue our peaceful walk through winter life. Imagine entering a medieval home after the sun has disappeared behind the hills. The room is dim, lit only by the fireplace and a single candle. Shadows curl softly around beams and rafters, and everything feels slow, still, ready for rest. In winter, sleep was not just rest. It was shelter from the cold, a time to conserve warmth and gather strength. Look toward the sleeping area. Sometimes it is a raised wooden platform. Sometimes a simple straw mattress on the floor. Sometimes a curtained nook built into the wall, forming a tiny private chamber. Whatever the shape, it is layered with wool blankets, thick, scratchy, but warm. Children huddle together beneath them like small birds beneath their mother's wing. Parents sleep nearby. And if the family shares their home with animals at night, as many did in the coldest months, a soft warmth rises from the livestock resting on the other side of a half wall. The air smells faintly of wool, smoke, and warm straw, a smell that brings comfort even when the wind howls outside. Imagine lying in such a bed, wrapped tightly, listening to the crackle of the fire as it slowly fades. You can hear the faint breathing of others around you, the whisper of settling wood, and the distant hush of snow falling in the dark. Winter sleep was long. For many months, dawn arrived late and night returned early. People drifted into a rhythm guided by the season, sleeping more, conserving energy, letting their bodies rest. Let us stay here a moment longer, feeling the peace of a winter night's rest, before we gently rise to continue our walk. The hearth was the heart of every medieval winter home. It was more than a fire. It was a companion. In the early morning, someone rises first, usually quietly, moving with slow steps so as not to disturb the others. A few glowing embers still hide beneath the ashes. These embers are precious. If they survive the night, the fire can be awakened without striking flint. Imagine the soft sound of breath blowing gently across the embers. The faint crackle as they glow brighter, the careful placement of kindling, and then the soft bloom of flame, warm and alive. As the fire grows, the room brightens, the day begins. The hearth cooks the morning porridge. It warms hands stiff from sleep. It dries cloth damp from melting snow, and it offers a place for quiet conversation. Someone sits close, mending a cloak. Someone else warms a cup of broth. A child curls up near the fire, watching the sparks drift upward like tiny bright insects. The hearth is not loud, its glow is gentle, its heat steady and comforting. In many homes, people gather around it for hours each day. They share stories. They plan chores. They enjoy the warmth the way one enjoys a soft blanket. The hearth is the winter companion that never leaves, and its light, flickering on wooden walls, becomes a memory that warms long after the season passes. Let us leave the hearth for now, stepping outside into the quiet world again. To survive winter, clothing had to be warm, sturdy, and practical. Imagine dressing in medieval winter layers. First, linen soft, breathable, close to the skin. Then wool thick and protective, a tunic, a cloak, sometimes a hood lined with fur. Sometimes sheepskin boots with wool stuffed inside for warmth. Each layer was simple, but each layer mattered. Clothing was often homemade, stitched carefully by hands that knew every fiber. Wool was spun slowly by firelight, twisted into yarn, then woven into cloth on a wooden loom that creaked gently with each movement. Think of a mother shaping warm mittens for her children, or a father sewing patches onto worn sleeves. Clothing was repaired again and again, cared for with patience, and everything smelled faintly of lanolin, the natural oil from wool that helped repel water and kept garments warm even in snow. When people stepped outside, wrapped in these layers, they moved like small bundles of warmth in the pale winter light. Their breath formed soft clouds. Their footsteps left deep marks in the snow. Clothing did more than keep them warm. It offered comfort, security, a sense of protection from the cold world outside. Let us walk on now, the crunch of snow underfoot steady and slow. Even in the deepest cold, life did not stop. But winter chores were gentle, patient, unhurried. Imagine moving through a winter day in the village. The sun rises late, tasks begin slowly. Someone brings water from the well, breaking a thin layer of ice. Someone else feeds the animals in the barn, the warm breaths of cows rising in misty clouds. A child gathers kindling from near the woodpile. An elder sorts dried herbs, selecting what will flavor the day's meal. Nothing is rushed. Winter teaches slowness. Inside, women spin wool or flax. The rhythmic movement of the spindle is calming, a soft whir that blends with the crackle of the fire. Men carve tools or repair harnesses, their hands steady and practiced even in the cold. Children help where they can. Sometimes they sweep the floors. Sometimes they fetch stored vegetables from the cellar. Sometimes they simply sit near the hearth, learning by watching. The outer world may be frozen, but inside, life continues with quiet purpose. As the day passes, the light shifts gently across the floor. Afternoon arrives early, and families begin preparing for the long night ahead. Let us move through the fading daylight now toward dusk. Food tasted better in winter. Warmth was a blessing, and meals brought families together. Imagine sitting at a wooden table as the fire glows bright behind you. The air is warm, the smells gentle and inviting. Maybe there is a thick vegetable stew simmering in the pot. Carrots, parsnips, beans softened overnight, a handful of barley or oats. Maybe a slice of salted meat, added sparingly to flavor the broth. Bread is warm from the morning's baking, crusty from the hearth's heat. Someone spreads a bit of soft cheese on it. Another drizzles a drop of honey saved from the summer bees. Conversation is hushed, not because anyone must be quiet, but because winter evenings naturally invite calm. Children eat slowly, eyelids heavy from the early sunset. Adults speak in gentle murmurs. Someone laughs softly at a shared memory. Someone else stirs the pot lazily, not wanting the moment to pass too soon. Eating was not just nourishment, it was comfort, warmth, a daily reminder that even in the coldest season, life could still be soft and peaceful. Let us stay at the table for a breath longer, then move onward into the deepening night. In winter, faith often became quieter, slower, a soft flame that warmed the spirit. Villagers believed the season carried meaning. That endurance had purpose. That spring would return if they held together. Imagine entering a small village church on a winter evening. The door closes behind you with a soft thud. Candles flicker on wooden beams. The air smells faintly of wax and cold stone. It is peaceful, calm, the kind of quiet that invites reflection. A few villagers kneel in the dim light. Their breaths drift upward. A soft chant might echo gently through the space. Or perhaps the church is silent, held in the hush of the season. Faith brought comfort in winter. Not loud celebrations, not dramatic rituals, just quiet hope, gratitude, patience. People prayed for warmth, for health, for safe journeys, for spring to return. And when they stepped back outside into the cold night, they carried a small glow of reassurance with them. Let us follow them back toward the village lights, slowly, gently, as the night settles around us. The night returns once more to our quiet medieval world. A soft hush settles over rooftops and fields. Snow glimmers in the moonlight like scattered stardust, and the village breathes slowly, wrapped in a blanket of winter stillness. Let us step gently back into that peaceful scene, moving at an unhurried pace, as if walking through a dream lit by lantern glow and drifting snow. Stand for a moment on the main path of the village. Everything is calm, silent, resting. Homes huddle close together, their chimneys releasing thin ribbons of smoke that rise into the cold night air. Animals sleep in their barns, their breath soft and steady. Wind slips between the buildings, whispering across frozen earth. At this hour, the world feels smaller, more intimate, as if time itself has slowed down to match the steady rhythm of winter life. Imagine hearing only a few sounds, the distant hoot of an owl perched in a bare tree, the faint creak of a shutter shifting in the wind, the soft crunch of snow under your boots as you walk. It is a peaceful soundscape, a natural lullaby woven from stillness and cold air. If you listen closely, you might hear a baby crying softly inside one of the homes, or a quiet laugh as someone tells a story by the fire. But outside, beneath the stars, everything remains calm. This winter quiet is something villagers knew well. They moved gently through it, respecting its stillness, finding comfort in the way the world seemed to pause. Let us continue walking, slow steps in the snow, toward another part of the village. Inside one of the warm homes, a family gathers close around a low wooden table. The fire burns softly. The light flickers gently across the walls. This is storytelling time, a tradition that warmed far more than the body. It warmed the heart, too. Imagine sitting near the fire, hands wrapped around a warm cup of broth. The scent of smoke drifts lazily through the room. Someone begins speaking in a low, soothing voice. They tell stories of the past, tales of ancestors, or memories from their own childhood, or small, gentle stories of the village and its people. These are not grand tales of kings or battles, not loud or dramatic, just simple human stories. A humorous moment from last harvest. The way the river froze unusually early one year. A tiny adventure someone had as a child, chasing a runaway chicken through snowdrifts. Everyone listens with soft smiles. Children lean against their parents. An elder nods slowly, remembering. Storytelling was a winter ritual, a way to keep spirits warm, a way to pass down wisdom, a way to weave families closer. As the story ends, the fire pops softly. Someone adds a new log, and another gentle tale begins. Let us sit with them a little longer, feeling the warmth of their closeness, before we slowly rise and continue our walk. Before lanterns became common, candles and torches lit the medieval home. But in winter, most people used candles sparingly. They saved precious wax for when it was truly needed. So evenings were dim, soft, peaceful. Imagine a single candle glowing beside the hearth. Its light dances quietly, drifting across wooden walls and woven baskets. The shadows it creates move slowly like gentle companions swaying in the dark. People learn to live comfortably in this half-light. Their eyes adjusted. Tasks became slower, calmer, and more deliberate. A mother might mend a sleeve by candlelight. A father might carve a simple tool. A child might watch the flame flicker, feeling drowsy as warmth fills the room. The candle makes no sound, only a faint hiss when wax melts down its sides. Its scent is mild beeswax, often sweet in a quiet, natural way. Shadows deepen in corners. The ceiling seems to float higher. The fire glows lower and lower as night reaches its quietest hour. Let us blow out the candle now, watching the small flame curl upward and vanish, leaving only the living warmth of the hearth as we continue. Most people stayed close to home during winter. Traveling was difficult. Paths were icy. Snow covered landmarks, and daylight hours were short. Imagine preparing for a winter journey in the medieval world. Scarves are wrapped tightly, cloaks pulled close. A traveler lifts a small pack filled with bread, dried fruit, and a bit of cheese. Horses move slowly along the frozen path. Their breaths puff out in gentle clouds. Their hooves crunch through the snow one careful step at a time. A traveler might pass through quiet fields, past frozen streams, past trees heavy with frost. Sometimes they might seek shelter in a roadside inn. These inns were warm, lively places in winter, not loud, but filled with gentle conversation and the soft clatter of bowls and wooden mugs. A fire burned in the center. Travelers loosened their cloaks and stretched weary legs. The smell of warm ale filled the air. Stories were exchanged, small stories of roads and weather and home. After resting, the traveler would continue onward, moving slowly, patiently, guided by the pale winter sun. Travel in winter was not an adventure. It was a deliberate, careful journey through a sleeping world. Let us step off the snowy road now and return to the warmth of the village hearth. Winter touched every part of medieval life, not just the village, but the surrounding forests, the rivers, the hills, and the quiet countryside. Imagine approaching a frozen river. Its surface is smooth and pale, like glass touched by moonlight. A thin mist rises from it, hovering just above the surface. Trees stand tall along the banks, their branches bare, their silhouettes sharp against the sky. The forest beyond is silent. Birdsong is rare. Leaves no longer rustle. Only snow moves, falling gently from high branches whenever wind sighs through the trees. Footprints of animals mark the ground. The soft tracks of deer, the tiny prints of birds hopping across the snow, the winding trail of a fox moving quietly in search of food. Nature rests in winter. Everything slows down. Everything waits. Villagers understood this rhythm. They respected the land's slumber, and they moved gently within it. Let us turn back slowly now, walking toward the dim glow of village lights as the frozen world behind us settles deeper into sleep. At last, the walk through the winter night brings you to a familiar door. You lift the wooden latch, and warm air spills out to greet you like a gentle embrace. Inside, the fire glows softly. The room smells of stew and smoke. Blankets are stacked near the sleeping area, and shadows sway peacefully on the walls. Someone looks up as you enter, their face warm with welcome. A seat near the fire awaits you. A cup is placed in your hands, warm, simple, comforting. You settle into the quiet of the evening. The children are half asleep. The adults speak in soft murmurs. The fire crackles in a slow, sleepy rhythm. Outside, winter continues its silent work. Inside, warmth gathers like a small sun, softening the cold night and carrying the household gently toward another night of rest. Let us settle here for a while, letting the warmth sink into our bones, letting the quiet wrap around us like a blanket of slow winter peace. The village sleeps under a soft blanket of snow. The air is crisp. The moon reflects pale silver off frozen rooftops and icy fields, and the world feels hushed, gentle and calm. Let us step once more into that peaceful winter, walking slowly through the quiet rhythms of medieval life, breathing deeply, and letting the soft images fill the mind. Imagine walking to the village well on a crisp winter morning. The snow squeaks softly under your boots. The wooden bucket swings in your hands as you lift it slowly from the icy water below. Even a simple task like fetching water requires care in winter. The bucket may be coated with ice, the rope stiff from the cold, hands wrapped in cloth or wool, moving deliberately to avoid frostbite. Water is precious in winter, not only for drinking but for cooking, for washing, and for animals. Villagers work slowly and mindfully. Each drop of water is valued. Each task becomes a quiet meditation on survival and patience. The sound of the bucket dipping into the water, then rising again, echoes softly in the still air. A single bird chirps somewhere distant. The snow muffles all other sound. This simple chore teaches respect for nature, for resources, and for the rhythm of life in cold months. With the fields asleep under frost and snow, many villagers turned inward. Inside homes or small workshops, hands moved slowly, creating what the family needed. Imagine a soft, warm room where a woodworker sits by the fire. His chisel moves gently, carving a small spoon. The sound is soft, rhythmic. Shavings curl onto the floor like tiny golden scrolls. Nearby, a weaver moves threads through a loom, the soft whir of the shuttle blending with the crackle of the hearth. The wool is warm in the hands, and the gentle motion is almost hypnotic. Children may be included in these tasks, watching carefully, learning patience, and taking part in small ways. Perhaps they sort threads or sand a piece of wood. Perhaps they watch the fire flicker while humming quietly. Winter crafts were more than practical. They brought calm. They connected people to their work, to the season, and to each other. Time slowed down, allowing focus and care in every movement. Some evenings, villagers ventured outdoors for a slow walk, even in the biting cold. Snow blanketed everything, softening sound and slowing movement. Imagine stepping outside at twilight. Your breath rises in gentle clouds. The snow crunches softly beneath your boots. Stars sparkle faintly overhead, pale and cold, yet steady. The world feels small and intimate. Every detail becomes noticeable. The icicles hanging from roofs, the frozen branches of hedges, the soft trail of an animal crossing the field. Walking slowly in winter teaches awareness. Every step requires care. Every sound and sight is enhanced by the stillness. And there is a quiet joy in moving through such peacefulness. These walks are not hurried. They are meditative. They connect people to the rhythm of the season and to the slow, patient heartbeat of life in winter. Returning to the village home, the hearth remains the center of life. It provides warmth, light, and a quiet sense of security. Imagine sitting near the fire as evening falls. The flames crackle softly. The smell of smoke drifts in the warm air. Wood logs glow orange in the dim room. People gather around the hearth. Parents mending clothes, children leaning against them, and perhaps a grandparent telling a story. Meals are simple but nourishing. A pot of thick stew, bread, or hot porridge brings comfort and sustenance. Every bite is warmed by the fire, and every moment carries a slow, soothing rhythm. Even small tasks near the fire become meditative. Stirring a pot, folding clothes, or turning a log to keep the flame steady. The hearth is a center of connection and calm. It is the soft pulse of the winter home, reminding everyone of warmth, life, and continuity. Music in medieval winter was quiet, simple, and soothing. Villagers played small instruments, hummed melodies, or sang softly by the fire. Imagine a small stringed instrument, perhaps a lyre or a simple lute. The notes are gentle. The sound mingles with the crackling fire. A soft voice joins in, singing a familiar lullaby. Children listen quietly, drowsy from the warmth. Adults hum along, letting their minds drift with the melody. The music is not loud or fast. It is slow, gentle, and rhythmic, a lullaby for all ages. Sometimes music is only the hum of someone's voice, a soft accompaniment to chores or to the flickering shadows. It lifts spirits without disturbing the calm of the evening. Winter music reminds people to slow down. It invites reflection. It carries warmth through long, dark nights. Evening meals are slow, deliberate, and comforting. Imagine a pot of thick stew on the fire. Roots and grains simmer gently. Herbs and salt are added carefully. Bread is sliced slowly, crusty and warm. Cheese or small portions of preserved meat are shared sparingly. People eat slowly, savoring every bite. Conversation is hushed. Laughter is gentle and soft. The meal nourishes not only the body but the soul. Cooking in winter is patient work. Boiling, simmering, stirring, every movement slow, deliberate, soothing. And the aroma fills the home with comfort and reassurance. Meals are a rhythm, a connection to family, hearth, and the quiet season outside. As night deepens, the family prepares for sleep. Blankets are layered thick. Woolen cloaks are added if the cold is sharp. Children are nestled close. Adults find warmth nearby. Even animals sometimes share the sleeping space to provide extra heat. The room is quiet except for the gentle crackle of the fire. Soft breaths rise and fall. Sleep comes easily after the slow rhythm of winter days. Rest in winter is long. It restores strength, calms the mind, and prepares the family for the cold hours ahead. Even as the world outside remains frozen, inside there is life, warmth, and quiet endurance. The village sleeps beneath a thick winter blanket. Snow glimmers faintly under the moonlight. The air is crisp, gentle, and still. And inside the small homes, fires glow with quiet warmth. Let us step gently back into this peaceful world. Moving slowly, softly, letting the rhythm of winter guide us deeper into the night. Imagine stepping into a small, snow-covered garden behind a medieval home. The soil is frozen. Nothing grows above the surface. Yet life is quietly stored below. Root vegetables remain hidden in earth-filled pits or under layers of straw. Carrots, parsnips, turnips, earthy, sweet, and nourishing. Herbs are dried and hung on lines or stacked in small bundles, their scents faint but comforting. Villagers tend these stores carefully. They check the cellars. They remove spoiled items. They plan meals based on what remains. Winter gardens remind people of preparation, patience, and the quiet cycles of life. Even in apparent stillness, there is abundance. Even in snow and cold, the world provides quietly, patiently. Winter days move slowly. Dawn arrives late. Dusk comes early. And in the long hours, life is deliberate. Imagine waking at first light. The house is quiet except for soft murmurs of those stirring. Hands wrap around warm cups of drink. The fire is coaxed to life. The smell of smoke, porridge, and baked bread fills the air. Chores are simple but mindful, tending animals, fetching water, gathering firewood, repairing tools, mending clothes. Everything is performed slowly, gently, carefully. Winter teaches patience. It teaches observation. It teaches a quiet acceptance of what the day offers. Even small acts become meditative. Stirring a pot, sweeping a floor, brushing snow from a path. In this rhythm, life moves with the season, not against it. Animals are integral to winter survival. Cows, sheep, chickens, and pigs provide food, warmth, and companionship. Imagine entering a dim barn. Animals breathe softly, their forms warm against the cold. Hay is packed carefully to provide insulation. Water is not frozen. Buckets are checked frequently. People speak softly to their animals. Names are remembered. Familiar movements are repeated. Even in the harshest months, there is care, routine, and connection. Outside, wild animals leave quiet tracks in the snow. Foxes, deer, rabbits, and birds move cautiously through frozen fields and forests. The signs of life, though subtle, remind villagers that the world is still alive beneath the snow. Winter is a season of observation. Every sound, footprint, and movement teaches awareness and patience. Clothing is crucial for winter survival. Imagine villagers dressing slowly in wool and linen. First comes the linen underlayer, then tunics and woolen cloaks. Hoods are pulled over heads. Gloves and boots are adjusted carefully. Every layer is crafted to protect from frostbite and chill. Every garment is patched and mended with care. Nothing is wasted. Everything is reused. The smell of wool, earthy and faintly lanolin rich, fills the air. Hands are warmed inside thick mittens. The weight of layers is familiar, comforting. Clothing becomes a second skin in winter, a soft barrier against the cold, a warm cocoon that allows people to move through the snow with security. Winter play and imagination, even in the cold, children find ways to play. Imagine a small group of children outside. Snow drifts are soft underfoot. Hands and boots are wrapped tightly. They roll balls of snow into small snowmen. They chase each other along frozen paths, or perhaps they slide down gentle hills on wooden boards. Inside, children play quietly near the fire. Wooden toys are carved carefully. Animals may be their companions. Stories are invented in whispers. Winter play is slow and imaginative. It teaches resilience. It provides comfort. And it allows the mind to move freely even when the body is bundled and cold. Markets still appear in winter, though smaller and calmer than in warmer months. Imagine a small village square. Wooden stalls are lined with simple goods, dried herbs, preserved foods, wool, and simple crafts. Vendors are bundled in thick cloaks, hands muffled in mittens. Customers speak quietly, smiling softly as they trade. The sound is soft, the occasional clink of coins, the murmur of voices, the gentle rustle of fabric. Markets in winter are not bustling or loud. They are a reminder that life continues, that communities remain connected, and that small acts of trade and cooperation carry families through long months. As the day ends, villagers prepare for the long night. The fire is tended. Potatoes, bread, and stew are set aside. Animals are secured in barns. Candles are lit. Blankets are fluffed. Families gather near the hearth. Children are tucked close. Soft stories are shared. Simple songs may be hummed. Evening is deliberate and unhurried. It is a time to reflect, to share, and to savor warmth. The darkness outside is soft and quiet. The hearth glows gently, and sleep begins to descend on the household, slow and steady. The night deepens over the medieval village. Snow glistens faintly under the pale moonlight. The air is crisp, still, and calm. Inside the small cottages, the glow of the hearth stretches across wooden floors, carrying warmth and quiet comfort. Let us step softly into this tranquil world, letting the rhythms of winter guide us, slowly, gently, deeper into the long nights. The hearth is more than fire. It is the heart of the home in winter. Imagine stepping into a dim room. The fire crackles quietly, sending warmth into every corner. Shadows dance softly on the walls. The air smells of smoke, wood, and simmering food. Villagers gather close. Hands are warmed over the glow. Meals are prepared slowly, deliberately. A pot of stew simmers with roots, grains, and preserved meat. The sound of the fire is rhythmic, almost meditative. Logs shift slightly. Embers glow softly. And the warmth spreads, filling the room like a gentle tide. Even small chores near the hearth, stirring, cutting, arranging, feel calm and peaceful. The fire teaches patience. It reminds everyone to move slowly, carefully, and deliberately. Food in winter is simple but comforting. Imagine a long wooden table set near the fire. Thick bread is sliced slowly. Stew bubbles gently in the pot. Cheese, honey, and dried fruits are placed carefully on plates. People eat slowly, savoring each bite. The warmth of the meal spreads through their bodies. Conversation is soft. Laughter is gentle and rare, but it carries warmth. Meals nourish more than the body. They are a source of connection. A reminder that even in the coldest months, life continues. And that the small comforts, food, warmth, company, are enough to make the day gentle. Clothing in winter is essential. Imagine dressing in layers. Linen close to the skin, wool tunics, thick cloaks, hoods, gloves, and boots. Everything is designed to hold warmth and protect against the cold. People patch garments repeatedly. Nothing is wasted. Every thread and stitch is cared for. The smell of wool, faintly earthy and warm, fills the home. Gloves are adjusted, hoods pulled close, boots laced tightly. These layers create security, comfort, and calm. They allow villagers to move outside without fear, and they serve as gentle protection, soft and familiar against the chill of winter. Evening walks in winter are slow and reflective. Imagine stepping outside. Snow muffles the world. Footsteps crunch softly beneath boots. The air is clear and crisp. Trees stand tall, branches heavy with frost. The moon casts pale silver across the landscape. Stars glimmer faintly above, distant and still. Animals leave delicate tracks in the snow. Birds hop quietly from branch to branch. Deer move gracefully through the forest, leaving fleeting impressions behind. These walks are peaceful. They remind villagers of the rhythm of nature, of life continuing quietly beneath the snow, and of the slow, steady passage of time. With fields dormant, people turn their hands to crafts. Imagine sitting by a fire, spinning wool on a spindle. The thread twists slowly, warm in your hands. Nearby, someone carves a wooden spoon, each stroke careful and precise. Children may watch, learning patience, or they help in small ways, arranging shavings, sorting thread, or practicing a small task. Crafts are meditative. They teach patience, focus, and appreciation for small, deliberate actions. In the quiet of winter, every creation carries warmth, purpose, and calm. Animals are essential to survival. They provide food, warmth, and companionship. Imagine entering a small barn. Hay is packed thickly to insulate the animals. Cows, sheep, pigs, and chickens breathe softly. The air is warm with their presence. Villagers check water, feed animals slowly, and speak to them gently. Names are remembered. Movements are familiar and comforting. Outside, wild animals move quietly. Foxes leave tracks across the snow. Rabbits hop along hedgerows. Birds seek shelter in bare branches. The presence of animals, domestic and wild, reminds villagers that life continues quietly even in winter's cold. Faith brings calm during long, dark months. Imagine stepping into the village church. The door closes softly behind you. Candles flicker. The smell of wax and cold stone fills the air. Villagers kneel quietly, hands folded. Prayers rise softly, steady and calm. The priest's voice is gentle, echoing in the still space. Faith in winter is quiet, reflective. It offers hope. It provides comfort. It connects people to their world, to each other, and to the steady cycle of the seasons. Afterward, villagers return home slowly, carrying a small inner warmth with them despite the chill outside. At last, the day ends. Villagers prepare for sleep. Blankets are layered thickly. Children are tucked close. Adults settle nearby. Even animals may share warmth in the sleeping space. The hearth crackles softly. Breaths rise and fall. The home is filled with quiet calm. Sleep in winter is restorative. It replenishes strength so villagers can face the long days ahead. And it allows the mind and body to rest within the gentle rhythm of the season. Outside, snow drifts quietly. The moon shines faintly, and the village rests under a blanket of soft, silver calm. The night is deep and silent over the village. Snow rests thickly on rooftops and fields. The air is crisp, almost sparkling, yet gentle. Inside the small cottages, fires glow softly, filling rooms with warmth and calm. Let us step slowly back into this quiet world, moving with the rhythms of winter, breathing softly and letting the peaceful scenes carry us forward. Winter work, gentle labor by firelight even in the coldest months, there is work to be done. Imagine a family gathered by the hearth performing small, deliberate tasks. Cloth is mended slowly. Wool is spun carefully. Wooden tools are carved quietly. The soft hum of activity blends with the crackling of the fire. Each movement is measured. Each task is performed with care. Nothing is rushed. Winter teaches patience. Winter encourages mindfulness. The room smells of wood, wool, and smoke. Hands are warm from repeated motions. Eyes are softened by the gentle glow of candlelight. Even simple chores become meditative. Every action reminds villagers of the rhythm and continuity of life and the comfort that comes from steady, purposeful work. The winter hearth. Central to life, the hearth remains the center of every winter home. Imagine sitting close to its glow. The fire warms your hands. Shadows dance softly on the walls. The smell of smoke and simmering food drifts through the air. A pot of stew simmers slowly. Bread is sliced carefully. A small cup of warm drink rests beside you. The hearth is more than warmth. It is a companion. It is a source of calm. It gathers families together, offering both comfort and quiet. Children sit near the flames. Adults tend the cooking. Elders rest nearby. Even the family cat or dog might lie at your feet, basking in the gentle heat. The hearth teaches presence. It reminds everyone to slow down, to savor warmth, and to enjoy simple comforts. Winter meals. Nourishment and connection meals in winter are slow and deliberate. Imagine a wooden table near the fire laden with humble but nourishing food. A thick vegetable stew bubbles quietly. Bread is warm and crusty. Cheese and honey are shared sparingly. People eat slowly. Conversation is soft, gentle, almost meditative. Every bite carries warmth and comfort. Food is not just for the body. It is for the heart. It nourishes connection and fosters calm. It reminds villagers that even in the coldest months, life continues steady and gentle. Winter clothing. Layers for comfort and protection. Survival in winter relies on warm clothing. Imagine putting on layers. Soft linen beneath, thick wool tunics, heavy cloaks, hoods, gloves, and boots. Every garment is cared for carefully. Patches are sewn as needed. Nothing is wasted. The smell of wool fills the room, earthy and warm. Hands move deliberately, adjusting layers. Boots are laced snugly. Gloves are pulled tight. Clothing is comfort. It is security. It is a soft barrier against the chill of winter. Villagers move through the snow like small bundles of warmth, their breath rising in gentle clouds, their footsteps muffled by fresh snow. Quiet walks. Observing the winter world, some villagers venture outside in the evening for gentle walks. Imagine stepping into the soft, pale light of the winter moon. Snow crunches beneath your boots. The world is quiet. Trees stand tall, heavy with frost. Stars shimmer faintly overhead. Animals leave delicate tracks in the snow. Foxes, rabbits, and birds move quietly through fields and forests. Footprints of deer mark distant woods. The quiet is profound. Even the wind moves gently, whispering through the branches. These walks teach mindfulness. They remind people to move slowly, to observe, and to appreciate the stillness of the season. Even in the harshest winter, there is beauty, calm, and gentle rhythm. Winter play, children's joy in snow and warmth. Even in the cold, children find ways to play. Imagine a group of children outside. Snow drifts are soft beneath their boots. They roll snowballs, build small snowmen, or slide down gentle hills on wooden boards. Inside, children play quietly by the fire. They carve small wooden toys. They invent soft, imaginative games or listen to stories whispered from parents or grandparents. Play is gentle. It is slow. It is part of winter's rhythm. Children remind everyone that even in the coldest months, joy exists in simple acts, and warmth is found both in the body and the imagination. Winter markets. Small, quiet trade markets continue through winter, though in a quieter way. Imagine a small village square. Wooden stalls are lined with simple goods: wool, dried herbs, preserved foods, and small tools. Vendors are bundled in thick cloaks. Customers move slowly, speaking in soft tones. The sound is subdued. The occasional clink of coins, a hushed conversation, the gentle rustle of fabric. Winter markets remind villagers that life continues. That connection remains, and that small acts of trade and cooperation sustain the community during the long months of cold. Evening rituals, preparing for night. As dusk falls, villagers prepare for a long winter night. The fire is tended. Meals are set aside. Animals are secured in barns. Candles are lit. Blankets are arranged carefully. Families gather near the hearth. Children are tucked close. Soft stories are shared. Gentle songs may be hummed. Evening is calm, deliberate, and soothing. The darkness outside is softened by the glow of the fire and the gentle rhythm of human life. It is a moment of reflection, comfort, and connection. Winter night, rest and renewal. Finally, the household settles for sleep. Blankets are thick and warm. Children drift off in the comfort of their parents' presence. Adults rest nearby. Even animals provide gentle warmth. The fire crackles softly. Breaths rise and fall. The home is quiet. Sleep in winter restores strength. It replenishes energy. It allows both body and mind to slow down, moving gently in time with the rhythm of the season. Outside, snow continues to drift softly. The moon glows faintly. The village rests, peaceful and calm, under winter's quiet blanket. The village lies quiet beneath a soft winter sky. Snow drifts gently across fields and rooftops. The air is crisp, still, and comforting. Inside, fires glow softly and the world feels wrapped in calm. Let us step gently into the rhythm of this peaceful season, moving slowly through the quiet patterns of medieval winter life. Water is essential, even in the depths of winter. Imagine walking slowly to the village well. Snow muffles your steps. The wooden bucket is cold in your hands. The rope is stiff with frost. Lowering the bucket into the icy water takes care. The slight sound of the water echoing inside the well is gentle, soothing. Raising the full bucket requires steady hands. Water is used for cooking, washing, and for the animals. Even this simple task connects villagers to their home, to the rhythm of life, and to the patient pace of winter. Returning home with the bucket, the warmth of the fire awaits. The contrast between cold and heat is gentle, familiar, comforting. Winter invites quiet crafting indoors. Imagine sitting by the fire, spinning wool on a wooden spindle. The thread twists steadily, warm between your fingers. Nearby, someone carves a spoon, each stroke slow and precise. Children may observe or help with small tasks, learning patience and care. Shavings and threads scatter softly across the floor. Every movement becomes meditative. Time slows down, hands work, mind rests. And the rhythm of creating mirrors the slow, steady passage of the season. Crafting is more than practical. It is comfort. It is focus. It is a gentle connection to life, to family, and to the quiet world outside. Animals bring warmth, food, and companionship during cold months. Imagine a barn full of gentle breath and quiet motion. Cows chew slowly. Sheep huddle together for warmth. Chickens rest quietly, feathers fluffed. Hay is packed carefully to insulate. Water is checked, kept from freezing. Villagers speak softly to the animals, naming them, tending to them with care. Outside, wild animals leave delicate tracks in the snow. A fox, a rabbit, a small bird hopping from branch to branch. These companions remind people that life continues quietly, even in the long, cold winter. Animals also bring a soft joy, a sense of connection and reassurance. They are reminders of continuity and gentle life in a season of stillness. Faith carries quietly through winter's long nights. Imagine stepping into the village church. The door closes softly behind you. Candles flicker. The scent of wax and stone fills the air. Villagers kneel quietly, hands folded. Soft prayers echo gently through the space. The priest's voice is calm, steady, unhurried. Faith is not loud in winter. It is reflective. It is soothing. It provides hope. It reassures that spring will return. And it connects everyone to the rhythm of life and the cycle of the seasons. Leaving the church, villagers carry a quiet warmth with them, a subtle glow of reassurance even as the cold night stretches on. Some villagers step outside for slow walks after supper. Imagine snow-covered fields and frozen streams. The moon reflects pale silver across icy surfaces. Stars sparkle faintly overhead. Footsteps crunch softly in the snow. Branches sway gently in the wind. Every sound is magnified in the quiet of winter. Deer, foxes, and birds move cautiously through the snow. Their tracks form delicate patterns across the frozen ground. These walks teach mindfulness. They remind villagers to move slowly, to observe the natural world, and to appreciate the quiet rhythms of winter. The snow absorbs noise. The moon lights the path gently, and every step is meditative, calming, reflective. Even in cold months, children find ways to play. Imagine a group of children outside, bundled warmly. Snow crunches under their boots. They roll snowballs, build small snowmen, or slide down hills on wooden boards. Inside, children play quietly near the fire. They carve toys, invent soft games, or listen to whispered stories. Winter play is slow, imaginative, and gentle. It allows children to explore joyfully even when the world is frozen. It reminds adults that warmth and happiness exist even in the quietest, coldest months. Even in winter, some markets continue. Imagine a small village square. Wooden stalls display wool, dried herb, preserved foods, and simple tools. Vendors wear thick cloaks. Customers move quietly, speaking softly, trading carefully. The sound is subdued. A coin clinks gently, a low voice offers a price, fabric rustles as it is handled slowly. Markets remind villagers that life continues, that connection persists, and that careful, deliberate trade sustains the community through long months of cold. As darkness deepens, villagers prepare for night. The fire is tended, meals are set aside, animals are secured, candles are lit, blankets are arranged carefully. Families gather near the hearth. Children are tucked in clothes, soft stories are shared, gentle songs may be hummed. Evening is slow, deliberate, soothing. The darkness outside is softened by firelight and the quiet rhythm of human life. It is a moment of reflection, comfort, and connection. Finally, the household settles for sleep. Blankets are thick and warm. Children drift off in comfort. Adults rest nearby. Even animals share warmth. The fire crackles softly. Breaths rise and fall. The home is quiet. Sleep restores strength. It allows the body and mind to slow. It aligns with the gentle rhythm of winter, and it carries everyone softly toward a new day. Outside, snow continues to drift. The moon glows faintly, and the village rests peacefully under winter's soft silver blanket. The village sleeps beneath a soft, pale winter moon. Snow blankets rooftops and fields. The air is crisp, still, and gentle. Inside small cottages, fires glow warmly, casting a comforting light. Let us step slowly back into this quiet world, moving with the calm rhythm of winter, breathing softly, and letting each scene settle like snow on the earth. Outside, the fields lie quiet beneath frost and snow. Crops rest in the soil, protected by layers of straw and earth. The world feels still, yet full of life hidden beneath the frozen surface. Imagine walking slowly along a path through these fields. Snow muffles every step. A soft wind stirs the bare branches of trees. The air smells faintly of earth, cold, and winter itself. Even in stillness, the land carries promise. Spring will return slowly, steadily, and the earth will awaken again. In winter, villagers watch and wait, respecting this calm, quiet rhythm. Nearby forests are quiet sanctuaries. Imagine stepping beneath tall, bare trees. Snow glimmers on branches. Footprints of animals trace soft patterns across the forest floor. A fox moves silently along the edge of the woods. A bird hops carefully from branch to branch. The wind whispers gently through the trees. Walking slowly through this quiet world teaches patience. It brings awareness to every sound, every movement, every breath. Winter reminds villagers to move with care, to observe, and to find comfort in stillness. Even in cold and silence, there is gentle life and beauty. Returning home, the hearth glows warmly. Its crackling flames fill the room with light and comfort. Imagine sitting close to the fire. Hands are warmed by the glow. Shadows dance slowly on wooden walls. The smell of smoke and simmering stew drifts through the room. The hearth is more than warmth. It is a companion, a center of family life, a slow, steady heartbeat. Children lean nearby. Adults tend the fire or prepare meals. Even small animals share in the cozy warmth. The fire teaches patience, presence, and calm. It softens the cold world outside and creates a gentle space for reflection, comfort, and togetherness. Meals are simple but comforting in winter. Imagine a wooden table near the fire. A thick vegetable stew simmers gently in a pot. Bread is warm and crusty. Cheese, honey, and dried fruits are shared in small portions. People eat slowly. Conversation is soft. Laughter is gentle and calm. Every bite carries warmth, not just to the body but to the spirit. Food in winter connects families. It fosters togetherness. It reminds villagers that even in the coldest months, life continues steadily, gently, and with comfort. Clothing is essential for survival. Imagine dressing in layers. Linen next to the skin, wool tunics, thick cloaks, hoods, gloves, and boots. Each piece is patched and cared for, preserved for many seasons. The smell of wool, earthy, warm, fills the home. Hands move deliberately, adjusting layers. Boots are laced snugly, gloves fitted carefully. Clothing is protection, comfort, and security. It allows villagers to move outside safely and provides a gentle reassurance that even the cold cannot overwhelm them. Evening walks in winter are meditative. Imagine stepping softly outside. Snow crunches under boots. The moon reflects pale silver across fields and frozen streams. Stars shimmer faintly in the cold night sky. Footprints of deer, foxes, and birds mark the landscape. The wind whispers softly. Every sound is magnified in the quiet of winter. Walking slowly teaches mindfulness. It encourages reflection, and it invites a gentle connection to the rhythms of the natural world. Even the harshest winter is softened by awareness and observation. Children find ways to play despite the cold. Imagine a small group of children outside. Snow crunches beneath their boots. They roll snowballs, build tiny snowmen, or slide down hills on wooden boards. Inside, children play quietly by the fire. They carve wooden toys, invent soft games, or listen to stories whispered by parents and elders. Play in winter is slow, imaginative, and soothing. It brings warmth to the spirit. It reminds adults that happiness can exist even in quiet, cold months. It teaches patience, creativity, and calm endurance. Even in winter, small markets persist. Imagine a village square with wooden stalls. Goods are simple, Wool, dried herbs, preserved foods, and small handmade tools. Vendors are wrapped in thick cloaks. Customers move slowly, speaking in quiet tones, trading carefully. The sound is subdued. A coin clinks softly, fabric rustles. A quiet conversation drifts through the cold air. Markets sustain connection. They remind villagers that life continues, and they provide steady support for families throughout the long winter months. As darkness deepens, villagers prepare for rest. The fire is tended, meals are set aside, animals are secured in barns, candles are lit, blankets are arranged carefully, families gather near the hearth, children are tucked in clothes, soft stories are shared, gentle songs may be hummed. Evening is slow, deliberate, and soothing. It brings reflection, connection, and comfort, and it prepares everyone for the long winter night. Finally, the household settles for sleep. Blankets are thick and warm. Children drift off easily. Adults rest nearby. Animals may share warmth in the sleeping space. The fire crackles softly. Breaths rise and fall. The home is quiet, peaceful, calm. Sleep restores strength. It allows the mind and body to slow. It aligns with the gentle rhythm of winter, and it carries the household softly toward a new day under the quiet, silver blanket of snow. The village rests beneath a soft winter sky. Snow drifts cover fields and rooftops. The air is crisp and still. Inside cottages, fires glow warmly, carrying gentle light and soft comfort. Let us step back into this peaceful world, moving slowly, letting the calm rhythm of winter guide us, breathing gently and allowing each scene to settle softly in our minds. Even before the cold deepens, villagers prepare for winter. Imagine families gathering in their homes as the first frost appears. Root vegetables are stored carefully in cellars. Hay and straw are stacked in barns for animals. Clothes are patched, repaired, and layered for warmth. Every action is deliberate, unhurried, and mindful. Winter teaches patience and foresight. Even the smallest preparation becomes a gentle, thoughtful ritual. These preparations are quiet acts of care. They ensure comfort, survival, and calm through the long months ahead. The rhythm of work mirrors the rhythm of the season, soft and steady, deliberate and reassuring. The hearth glows warmly at the center of every home. Imagine sitting near its steady fire. Shadows flicker gently across walls. The smell of smoke drifts through the room. A pot of stew simmers slowly, filling the air with warmth. The hearth is more than heat. It is the center of connection and comfort. It gathers families together. It invites quiet conversation, storytelling, and reflection. Children sit close watching the fire. Adults tend tasks carefully. Even small animals find comfort near the glowing warmth. The hearth is the heartbeat of winter, soft, steady, and calming, a companion through the cold nights. Evening meals are simple, slow, and comforting. Imagine a table set near the fire. Thick bread rests on wooden plates. Vegetable stew simmers gently. Cheese, honey, and dried fruits are shared in small portions. People eat slowly. Conversation is quiet. Every bite nourishes body and spirit. Winter meals are more than food, they are rituals of connection. They remind villagers of warmth, community, and calm during long nights. Even in harsh weather, meals sustain life, comfort, and a sense of security. Warm clothing is essential in winter. Imagine layering linen, wool tunics, thick cloaks, hoods, gloves, and boots. Each garment is carefully patched, mended, and preserved. The smell of wool, earthy, faintly sweet, fills the air. Hands move deliberately, adjusting layers. Boots are tied snugly. Gloves fit carefully. Clothing provides protection, warmth, and comfort. It allows villagers to step outside safely, moving slowly and securely through snow and frost. Winter clothing is more than survival. It is a tactile reminder of care, foresight, and calm. Some villagers take slow walks during the evening. Imagine stepping outside into pale moonlight. Snow muffles your footsteps. Frozen streams shimmer quietly. Stars twinkle faintly in the clear night sky. Deer, foxes, and birds leave delicate tracks in the snow. Branches sway softly in the wind. Every sound is magnified by winter's quiet. Walking slowly in this still world encourages mindfulness, reflection, and appreciation. Even in the coldest months, life continues softly and steadily. And the world seems vast yet intimate, quiet yet full of gentle movement. Even in cold months, children find warmth through play. Imagine a small group of children outside. Snow crunches beneath their boots. They roll snowballs, build small snowmen, or slide down gentle hills on wooden boards. Inside, children play quietly near the fire. Wooden toys are carved. Soft games are invented. Stories are whispered, slow and calm. Play in winter is gentle, imaginative, and soothing. It brings warmth to the spirit. It reminds adults that joy exists even in quiet, cold months. And it teaches patience, creativity, and gentle endurance. Even during the coldest months, markets continue in smaller, quieter ways. Imagine a village square with wooden stalls. Goods include wool, dried herbs, preserved foods, and simple crafts. Vendors are bundled warmly. Customers move slowly, speaking softly, trading carefully. The sound is subdued. Coins clink softly, fabric rustles, and quiet conversation drifts through the cold air. Winter markets sustain connection, remind villagers that life continues, and provide steady support for families throughout the season. As darkness falls, villagers prepare for the long night. The fire is tended. Meals are set aside. Animals are secured in barns. Candles are lit. Blankets are arranged carefully. Families gather near the hearth. Children are tucked in clothes. Soft stories are shared. Gentle songs may be hummed. Evening is slow, deliberate, soothing. The darkness outside is softened by firelight and the quiet rhythm of human life. It is a time of reflection, connection, and comfort, a moment to prepare body and mind for rest. Finally, the household settles into sleep. Blankets are thick and warm. Children drift off easily. Adults rest nearby. Even animals provide gentle warmth. The fire crackles softly. Breaths rise and fall. The home is quiet, peaceful, and calm. Sleep restores strength, aligns the mind and body with the gentle rhythm of winter, and carries everyone softly into the promise of a new day. Outside, snow continues to fall softly. The village rests under winter's serene silver blanket. As the night deepens over the quiet village, we pause for a moment. Snow glistens softly under the pale moonlight, and the world feels wrapped in stillness and calm. Imagine stepping outside one last time. The air is crisp. Every sound is softened by drifting snow. Footprints mark slow journeys through fields and paths, but soon they are covered again, leaving only peace behind. Inside, the hearth glows gently, casting warm light across wooden walls and soft blankets. Families breathe slowly in rhythm with the fire. Children are nestled close, their quiet breathing blending with the gentle crackle of logs. Even animals sleep soundly nearby, offering warmth and companionship. Winter life was slow, deliberate, and mindful. Every chore, every meal, every walk through snow, every story shared by firelight was a way to find calm and comfort. Even in the coldest months, there was warmth, connection, and gentle joy. Imagine looking around the village one last time. Frost glints on rooftops. Icicles hang quietly from eaves. Smoke drifts lazily from chimneys. The land sleeps, and the people rest. Winter teaches patience. It teaches appreciation for the simple things: a warm hearth, a shared meal, the laughter of children, the slow beauty of snow-covered fields. It reminds us that life continues quietly, even in the coldest, darkest months, and that small acts of care carry us through. As the night grows deeper, let us carry the calm of this medieval winter with us. Let the slow rhythm of life, the gentle warmth of hearth and home, and the quiet beauty of snowy fields linger in your mind. The village sleeps. The fire crackles softly one last time, and we can rest, too, wrapped in the gentle, timeless rhythm of winter life. Good night.